We have talked a lot about cosmic fury these days, but there is a topic that we have not touched on yet, and that is the issue of the villains. In any production there must be problems and solutions. In superhero projects specifically, there are no heroes if there are no villains. The villains are just as important as the heroes because there is no point in having heroes if there are no villains. The Power Rangers franchise has always stood out for having very good villains, which sometimes are more loved by fans than even the Rangers themselves. One of these villains that became very famous was Lord Zedd, which started in the second season of the franchise and returned in the last series, which was Dino Fury. According to the information all over the internet, the main villain of this new season of the Power Rangers is supposed to be Lord Zedd, but there are a few things that we need to discuss before the premiere of the series. When Lord Zedd started in Mighty Morphin, he was a dark villain, to such an extent that many parents complained, and the production had to modify the character a bit. The main purpose of this villain was to create real fear in his appearances, but because the Power Rangers has always been directed towards a child audience, many thought that Lord Zedd created too much fear for a series of this style. This is why Lord Zedd had an affair with Rita Repulsa and then seemed less of a scary villain. Despite this, he became a legendary villain, and this is why his return in Dino Fury was a moment that left us all shocked. We know there is some confusion about Lord Zedd's return since he had transformed into a good human being in the In Space season, but this discussion is a bit extensive, and we will leave it for another video. Another confusion that many fans have about the return of this character is that he doesn't seem to be the same villain that was in Mighty Morphin. We know he is supposed to be the same, but his mannerisms are a bit different, as if he had erased everything he did in Mighty Morphin from his memory. We possibly have this feeling since they have changed the character's personality a little bit since, as I said before, Lord Zedd started out being very serious and then they had to change him to give him a personality that wasn't so scary, including some funny parts. In his return to Dino Fury, we could see that his personality is quite serious and his goal of conquering everything is very serious. In addition to this, Lord Zedd seems to have more power than he had before, since when he first appeared in the franchise he didn't seem to have as much power as he does now. By this I don't mean that he wasn't a powerful being before. Obviously he showed his power by destroying the Mighty Morphin swords, but we would never have thought that he could face a Morphin Master. We know that the Morphin Masters never appeared in Mighty Morphin, except in some images when Zordon talked about them. Even so, these beings were always seen as the most powerful, and we would have never thought that Lord Zedd would be able to face them. In addition to this, Lord Zedd was never able to defeat the Mighty Morphin. However, the Dino Fury never had enough power to face Lord Zedd. The times that these Rangers faced Lord Zedd, they seemed weak against the power of this being, and this leaves us with a question mark. We don't know if Lord Zedd is now more powerful than before, or if the Mighty Morphin is more powerful than the Dino Fury. Regardless of the answer, we must recognize that the Lord Zedd we have now is different from the one we saw in Mighty Morphin. When I talk about differences, I am not referring to his physique, as many people have criticized Lord Zedd's body in the Dino Fury series. We must accept that Lord Zedd looks like he has been inside a gym all these years, since he looks bigger and stronger. This is obviously something that we should not give any importance to, because after all these years, it is very likely that the suit that the production used to give life to this character perhaps was damaged and they had to create a new suit. Another thing is that the person who wears the suit must be someone different, and they had to create a new suit for him. These are unimportant details, but at the same time they bring other proposals to the discussion. In some series the villains transform and change shape so that their power increases. This is something we have seen very few times in Power Rangers, and I am not referring to the change of size. I am referring to transformations like the ones we can see in series like Dragon Ball, where some characters transform their bodies and acquire more power. This is an excellent idea that we should have in the Power Rangers series, since Lord Zedd has had a transformation, but his body has not shown it. This villain is now more powerful, has a different mindset, has succeeded in almost everything he has set his mind to, and the only physical change we have seen is that he now looks more muscular. I think in Cosmic Fury we should be able to see a transformation of this character, just as has happened with the Rangers. In this season we know that the Power Rangers are going to get a new power, they're going to have new suits, and they're also going to have new weapons. Villains are just as important as heroes in a TV series, so Lord Zedd should also have a transformation that will make him a more powerful and difficult villain to defeat. This would help make the series more entertaining and at the same time take away the repetitive factor. Let's remember that Lord Zedd is a villain that we saw in many episodes in Mighty Morphin, since in those years the seasons had many episodes. Then we could also see him in several episodes of Dino Fury with the same physical appearance, and if we see him the same in Cosmic Fury it could be a bit repetitive. If Lord Zedd physically transforms, then we would have something different, even though he is the same villain we have known for many years. A good example of this is the history of the comics, in which we have been able to see Lord Zedd's transformation, but we have also seen the transformation of Rita Repulsa. Both villains are the most classic villains in the series, and the transformation they gave her in the comics was excellent, as we now feel we have two new more powerful villains. Rita Repulsa has become the new Mistress Vil, getting the same position her father had, with new powers and a new physical appearance as well. Lord Zedd recently also had a transformation, and he used the Ranger powers to transform himself, obtaining a different look. With this change he now has more power, and although he is far from being a hero, he now looks like a high-level warrior. This is exactly what they should implement in the TV series, and in this Cosmic Fury story they are obviously not going to transform him into a ranger, but they could transform him into a darker villain with a different body. We know that Cosmic Fury is already filmed, and we don't know if the series is going to have things like this, but let's hope that in the reboot they can think about these transformations. Write in the comments if you would like to see a Lord Zedd transformation. Like this video and subscribe to be the most powerful Power Rangers villain.